Welcome to COS Tutorials. In this tutorial, we would learn how to create a patient in COS using Create Patient Demographic Service. All services in COS are secured, and in order to invoke them, you need to pass the authentication token and company ID for every request you make to COS. In this example, we would assume that the physician has already logged in and obtained these two variables. The username of the physician be physician1. So in order to create a patient, you would require the following attributes: the first name of the patient, the last name of the patient, the gender of the patient, as well as the birth time of the patient. These four attributes are mandatory in COS to create a patient. Later, we would create a COS request XML for Create Patient Demographic Service so that a patient is created in the COS. Let's see how this XML is created. We have taken XML in the form of string. The root tag of the XML consists of the Cosmo container. Then comes the Cosmo request. This request tag tells that this particular request is to insert, or this particular request is to create a patient in the system. The object which it is going to create is independent object. That means it is not dependent on any other COS object. The execution context contains the authentication token, company ID, as well as the user ID as to who is creating this patient. Lastly, in the request object, you need to specify that you want to send data of patient type, where the first name, last name, birth time, and the gender is specified. In this way, you create a COS request XML. After creating this XML, you send it to the COS using HTTPS. And as a response, you would get a XML string. Now this string looks something like this. It has got a Cosmo container, it has got a Cosmo response, and it has got a results tab. In case of an error, you would have error message as an attribute for Cosmo response. Now since we have created a patient as a return type, we would get the entire patient object. Okay, and how do we know that? Whenever the results tab is coming, it tells us what is the type of object it contains. And in this object, we have the patient ID which got created at the COS. This ID is generated by the COS framework, as well as the details about the patient: first name, last name, his date of birth, as well as the gender of the patient. You would see other attributes also in this particular object, like the marital status code, the social security number, the deceased time if he is not alive, the medical record number. These are the various attributes present in the patient type. For this patient, it is null since we did not send any of these attributes while creating the patient. Later, in our application, we would parse this Cosmo response using a DOM parser. Let's see how did we do this. We would create a document builder, which is nothing but an instance for the DOM parser, and then we would make use of this particular document builder and parse the Cosmo response. After parsing the Cosmo response, we would get a document object. This document object would contain nodes, which are nothing but the elements of the XML. We would look for the Cosmo response. After we get the Cosmo response, we would search for the attribute called as error message to check whether the response which has come has the error message or no. In case it doesn't, then Further, we are going to dig more into the results tab and access the nodes one by one. In the results tag, we would have all the attributes which describe a particular patient, and we would say get attribute on that particular element. And in this way, you retrieve all the data which has come from the cause as a response. This is how we consume the Create Patient Demographic service in COS. Thank you.